We anticipate in the next 10 to 12 years, approximately 8 to 6 million Hispanics coming into the United States and 41 million Asians. You have been the majority minority for 400 years in this country. You have been the number 2 population for 400 years. You're going to get kicked out of being number 2. You're going to go down and become number 4. Now, common sense, even a 3rd grade education would tell you, if you didn't get anything when you were number 2, you all jumped ahead of me, but anyway, you can guess what you're going to get when you become number 4.
President Biden, do you support reparations?
Well, I mean, since I haven't spoken on this, got a chance. Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration. We've been able to cherry pick the best from every single continent. The people who come here have determination, resilience. They are ready to stand up and work like the devil. We have 24 out of 100 children in our school today is Hispanic. The idea that we are going to walk away and not provide every opportunity for them is not only stupid and immoral, but it's bad for America. They are the future of America.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to call. And this is what we are faced with. And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
We are owed $104 trillion on the very low end, plus $735 billion recurring. This number does not include the cost of about 50 Black Wall Streets that were decimated, nor compound interest from 2017 when Sean D. Rochester's book, The Black Tax, was published, nor the cost of Black life, nor the cost of living increases, nor the war on drugs, nor the current day pandemic. The number I'm working with is for slavery, Jim Crow, and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives. Good evening, good afternoon on the West Coast. Good afternoon in the mountain. Good afternoon in the central. Good afternoon on the East Coast. You know exactly who it is, family. Angela Nirvana, your hostess with the most, is on the Reparationist Perspective, bringing you those Freedmen hot topics and making the case for reparations, making the case for weaponizing our vote, socializing our suffering. And today, family, it's no different than any other day. Shout out to Herb Saint, Cynthia Adeyemi. I'm so grateful to have you guys on the live. For those of you in Racebook and ScrewTube, shout out to you as well. Welcome to the live. And y'all know it's going to be live. It's going to be lit. I'm going to try to stay calm. I'm going to try not to get over animated. That's a bit of a challenge, but I'm going to do my best. I don't have long with you, so I'm just going to jump right into today's puckery. It's a lot going on, family. You have to wake up and smell the tea leaves. We are being ethno-genocide right about this piece. I see you, Brian Johnson. Thank you so much, family, for joining the live. And I just need to help you understand that the weaponization of immigration to ethno-genocide freedmen is a real thing. I'm not making this up. Dr. Claude Anderson told us about this 40 years ago, right? And because we refuse to pay attention to him, now we are literally in the fight of our lives to prevent from becoming the permanent bottom caste. I see you, Satra Del Reed 360. Thank you, love, for joining the live. to prevent from becoming the permanent bottom caste in the country our ancestors built with their lives. And the challenge in the things that are happening on the city council level, as we're about to get into, is that as we're being gentrified out of these communities, the racial makeup of these particular councils are of these immigrants who hate us and want to see us the permanent bottom caste in this country. You have to understand, family, that capitalism requires a bottom caste. And we're it, and have been it since Africa sold us into slavery. Why do I keep punching that? Because folks like to pretend that everybody was kidnapped, that Africa didn't play a role in this. And so not only did they play a role in it, but many of the ones you see in this country descend from slave traders. Now, as my title reads, like Herb Saint said, why do we have to keep stressing this? Because nobody wants me to talk about our most imminent threat, legal and illegal immigration. It's a threat. Why is that, family? Why do I constantly say it's our most imminent threat? Because we're being replaced in every industry. You can't find us in upper level management, no place. We have no real social capital. And I was speaking to a girlfriend today, and she said, that's for y'all out in California. Well, I already shared with you about the Freedmen's Bank Forum, how this government has, the Biden administration has set aside $9 billion for immigrants in the name of freedmen. Okay, in the name of the Freedmen Bank Forum, and the gentleman there whose bank is 800 million, he's amassed 800 million in assets, and the bank in North Carolina has already told you that he intends to lend to more of his kind. You know, they got 126 ethnicities in the Hispanic community. He intends to lend money for mortgages for more of his kind in North Carolina. They are now coming to take over the South. Now, I'm ringing the alarm so you guys won't be reduced from whatever percentages you are, akin to how we've been reduced. We've been reduced from 17 to 3% up out this piece, okay? And now they want to talk about giving reparations to immigrants. Here, it's African Black. It's Caribbean Black in New York, in Boston, back east. But out here, we have to compete with African Blacks who sold us into slavery for our own reparations. That was just delayed by Freedmen, Senator Bradford, who put a motion on the floor to delay the vote when Secretary of State, Dr. Shirley Weber, made it emphatically clear who she intended reparations for when she authored AB 3121. Okay? And even though Cherminsky said, listen, if you make this a race thing, you run the risk of compromising whatever reparations the actual lineage is owed. And yet we've got Freedman, Senator Bradford, undermining us by waiting a whole nother month, which holds up the researchers, the analysts, the economists, right? That's what happens when you motion to not put eligibility to a vote. We have to wait a whole nother month. This stalls us a whole nother month, and we are out of time. And so what happens when you flood the zone with refugees and immigrants alike, that's the ethno-genocide for Freedmen, because we have no social capital at the hiring tables. They've gotten rid of most of us out here in upper management. Many of you already know my story. How I got involved with this fight is because I was, one of many Blacks who worked at Wells Fargo Bank when they replaced us with what? Immigrants. You'd be hard pressed to go any place out here in California and see Black folks working. And that's not just the orange groves. I'm talking all the way up and through the public and private sectors through management. And now we're around 3% or less since COVID. And so what happens is when they take over and flood the zone and make your state a sanctuary state, this is how these people get in office to do what we're about to get into now. So please don't be smug on the East Coast because you don't see it yet. Hi, Perfecto Chico. Great to see you too. Sharing. Oh, please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications if you feel so compelled. Please bless the broadcast. My Cash App and my PayPal are scrolling on the bar below. This enables me to educate the masses and to advocate for Freedmen reparations, okay? So yeah, once you flood the zone with them, they are taking over on the local, state, and federal levels. And like Dr. Claude Anderson said, if you think you got nothing as the second largest group in the country, you really got nothing coming with these immigrants because they're only importing the kind that hate us. Yes, you guys, please chat away. I've got to get into the articles and I'll come back and round the conversation out with your comments. So let me jump right in. I'm taking my 80-year-old parishioner. She just turned 80 to dinner and to the movie to celebrate her birthday. So that's why I can't stay real long, okay? So let's get into it. Settlement blocked. Opponents blocked settlement from the woman that was dragged from the car by the police at Chicago Mall days after George Floyd's killing. Yeah. Now, to my understanding, and hopefully the article will get in this, they didn't have all of the city council there when they did this. The ones that actually did this were non-black aldermen. And they make what? About $160,000 a year? Let's get into it. Let me share my screen. Excuse me. I just burped all up in the broadcast. Please continue, co-host. I'll be right over. Sharing my screen. Stand by. Please like, share, subscribe. Turn on your notifications. Settlement blocked. Okay. Can y'all see that and me? Let me make sure. Oh, that's too small. Well, y'all can see that. I want to have you see me as I read through. I'm going to open up another screen now and read it from another screen. Just a second. Oh, shoot. That's wrong. Hold on. Just a second, guys. What is going on? I didn't intend for that to go. All these little things. Closing the player. Please close the player. I just want the title over here, y'all. Okay, here we go. Ooh, child, they always, no thanks. Okay. Hold on. Okay, let's get into it. Alderman, oh, Lord, just a second, guys. It feels like this article is cutting off by all these pop-ups. Alderman blocked a $1.675 million taxpayer-funded settlement Wednesday for a group, including a woman who was dragged from her car by Chicago police at the Brickyard Mall in the tumultuous days after the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis. 4 members of the city council used a parliamentary maneuver to delay the vote. 4 members of non-black 4 members of the city council used a parliamentary maneuver to delay the vote on the proposed payment to Mia Wright and others. Several members of the city council have opposed the deal, and the debate at a recent committee meeting spurred heated talk about Black Chicagoans' rights and their treatment by police. My word is mistreatment and mishandling by the police. The aldermen who moved to defer the settlement were Raymond Lopez, Felix Cardona, Nick Sposato, and Silvana Tabares. This is what happens when you guys continue to vote for these Democrats. Wright and family members said they were trying to visit the Brickyard in late May 2020, but they said they arrived to discover the Northwest Side Mall closed because of civil unrest that occurred across the city in the aftermath of the killing of Floyd, a Black man who died under the knee of white Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. In the Wright case, police officers suddenly surrounded the car, broke the windows, and pulled Wright out of the vehicle by her hair, she said. While Wright was prone on the ground, an officer placed his knee on her neck, she said. Wright was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct, though the charge was later dropped. You see how they create the problems and then want to arrest us for disorderly conduct and then later drop the charges. You see? They try to make a case for their puckery. A relative who was with Wright captured the incident on video. 5 plaintiffs would share the settlement if it's eventually approved. So I'm going to show the video. It's graphic, so if you don't have a stomach for it, look away.
I'm a big, fat speed freak.
Oh,
and with
Lord,
Frontier's
I hate
fiber 2 gig
that.
speed, I'm unstoppable. Max speed, everyone. I'm already there. Catch me.
Be unstoppable with the insane speed of new Frontier Fiber 2 gig internet.
It's an old-ass woman! Stop. Wait, hold on.
Okay. So you saw how horrific that scene was, right, family? Okay. Let's take you back to the headline. This is the family. Miss Wright. She was pulled from the car by Chicago police at the Brickyard, talks to the reporters in the parking lot of the shopping center on June 4th, 2020. I'm going to take us back to the article and then come back over and minimize the picture until I'm ready for something next. Yes. Family, this is what is happening. And this is what 4 of the aldermen who appear to be Hispanic have decided to block that settlement, family. Hi, Ivy Dreams, my love. Okay, so let me go back because I'm not done. They blocked it, and then I'm going to share with you the article of what they did for their own Hispanic people in lieu of it, okay? So let me go. Oh, I don't want to mess with that one. Let's go over here. Okay, close that. Okay, so let's move on. Officers said they thought some members of Wright's group were attempting to break into a store at the mall to steal goods. Now, you saw they were in their vehicle. You can't have it both ways. They can't be in the vehicle and you just make these outlandish assumptions that they were attempting to break into a store at the mall to steal goods. This is what the city lawyer, Carolyn Franzak, another immigrant, told aldermen during a hearing last week. But the officers also acknowledged nobody in the group matched the descriptions of these suspected looters. And I don't even believe there were any suspected looters. They make this stuff up to justify executing us with immunity. And if you notice, no other group experiences this but us. So this is not a matter of lack of training. This is what these race soldiers are hired to do. This is another form of ethno-genociding freedmen right up out the country our ancestors built with their lives. So we're being squeezed from all directions. And that's why I'm sounding the alarm. Back to the text. Last week, during a committee hearing, Sposato wondered why Wright, who he said lived in the West Side North Lawndale neighborhood, drove to the Northwest Side Mall to shop on a day when Chicago was experiencing extensive, well-publicized public disturbances following the Floyd murder. Ain't this about a biatch? This Mickey Ficky that sits as an alderman on the city council is wondering why Wright and her posse decided to go from the black side of town, I guess, to the white side of town to shop on a day that folks were protesting the Floyd execution by the race soldier Derek Chauvin. So not only do we have sundown towns, we've got sun-up towns. This is what this Mickey Ficky, who's clearly an immigrant, by his last name Sposato, he's clearly an immigrant, and he wants to retry the entire case that gave them a $1.67 million settlement because he just doesn't know why they chose to go from the west side of North Lawndale neighborhood. Why are you over here on the Northwest Side Mall to shop on a day when Chicago was experiencing extensive, well-publicized public disturbances following the Floyd murder? That's suspect. And yet becomes grounds for him and 3 other aldermen to block the people that were victimized $1.67 million settlement, but grant the Hispanics their $1.2 million settlement. Stick a pin in it. Sposato's comments prompted Alderman Jason Irvin, 28th, I guess that's the 28th district, to ask, what's wrong with somebody who lives at Pulaski and Cermak coming to the Brickyard to shop? Now, Jason Irvin sounds like Irvin, E-R-V-I-N. He might be a freedman. So he's asking what I'm asking. What the hell is wrong with somebody who lives on the west side coming over to the Brickyard to shop? But this is the way they make excuses to deny us what we're due. People do have the right to move about the city or move about the nation as they choose, Irvin said. Aldermen who support the settlement will have another shot at approving it at the next meeting, which won't likely occur until March 23rd. Also Wednesday, the city council passed a $1.2 million settlement for Jomner, Orozco, Carreto, and Carlos Ramirez, 2 men who said an off-duty Chicago police officer shot at them while they were parked on Irving Park Road in the Albany Park neighborhood in December 2020. So you see what happened here. These same 4 immigrants who earn around $160,000 a year decided to block Freedmen Mia Wright $1.67 million settlement for the hell she endured by the race soldiers of Chicago. But they passed the $1.2 million settlement for Jomner, Orozco, Carreto, and Carlos Ramirez. And this is what I'm talking about when I say I'm not anti-immigrant. I'm anti the weaponization of immigration against freedmen, specifically to ethno-genocide us to as few in number as the Indians. And it's exhausting to keep having to explain myself because I keep being called a xenophobe. Nobody is called a name, but when I try to highlight the puckery wherein these immigrants are concerned and how it's our most imminent threat, I get dragged constantly in my feed, in my email. You hate immigrants, you're a xenophobe, da, 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 da. So what the immigrants are expecting me to do is to sit silently in the gas chambers of the Democratic Party until we are no more, until we are as few in numbers as the Indians. Maybe then they'll give us one of those quarters with Maya Angelou on the back of a slaveholder quarter. Maybe then that's what the reparations will end up being. So I don't give a damn what you call me. I'm going to continue the work of Dr. Claude Anderson in calling out this puckery so that my daughter and your children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren are in a position to live without the imminent threat of being ethno-genocide in any one of these ways, shapes, or forms that is currently being leveled at the heads of freedmen exclusively. So please continue to call me these ratchet names. My anger gets shit done over here. And I will continue to call you out no matter the name calling of me. It's my platform. You don't run this. And you don't run the words coming out of my mouth. Troll me as much as you want. I'm going to lean in on this topic because if we don't stop this immigration, legal and illegal, we are done. And if we're going down with this Titanic, it won't be because I sat in the gas chamber and was silent about it. That's not going to happen. Back to the text. The officer, Kevin Bunge, said he heard gunshots after the car pulled up behind his parked car on Irving Park before he got out of his car and fired shots into their vehicle. One of the men was struck in the hand. No gun was recovered from the men's car, and they said they had pulled over simply to look up directions to a party. Bunge was charged in the case. So that's about all I have time for, so I can get to your comments, my co-host. Listen, I'm not discounting that those gentlemen weren't owed their $1.2 million. Okay? What I'm telling you is that these Mickey Fickies voted against the very freed woman, Mia Wright, to get the $1.67 million. There were more people that were sharing in that settlement. I guess they were all in that car. The ones that they attacked and tortured. I think she got it the worst. So I think it's divided up between the group. But the long and short of it is, that's what I'm calling out. That 4 aldermen were able to block it and pass this in lieu of that. All the while sitting up here questioning why the very freed woman whose ancestors built all the wealth these Mickey Fickies eat from at $167,000. Let me see. Hold on. I want to quote their salaries. I'm sorry. I was off by about 10,000. Their accurate salaries are $146,585 a year. Not 160. But our national median income is 41,000. And we descend from the ancestors who built the wealth these Mickey Fickies eat from with their lives. And I brought this up to continue to drive my point home about my Freedmen voter strategy. Let's hear from Dr. Claude Anderson about that. Hold on. Welcome to the live, my loves. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. And if you feel so compelled, please bless the broadcast. It enables me to educate the masses and to advocate for Freedmen reparations exclusively. So I want to share Dr. Claude, and then I'm going to get into my co-host comments and have an exchange with them. I don't have a phone-in show because I can't get through as many phone calls with the time I'm allotted as I can comments, okay? So this enables me to do it this way where I can get in more of what my co-hosts, the viewers, have to say about it. Let me share Dr. Claude. I'll share my voter strategy, and then we'll get into the comments, and I'll pray us out. Oh, shoot. Y'all, hold on. I got to get to it. It always does this nonsense. I'm going to play it from there. It's too hard to get it exact.
Across this nation, get every black to say, get out of the Democratic Party, get out of the Republican Party. They've taken you for granted. They're not going to do anything for you. They never have. I've run campaigns for two presidents. I run campaigns for governors and mayors and attorney generals and state legislators. And I've never found anybody that was set up to say, I'm here to support black people. And I do it because sometimes because I done got into better sense. I've done this for 60-something years, and I'm going to continue to do it until I die. But I'm trying to show you how to cut it short to deal strictly with the material. That is, ask blacks to put into a protected class. Secondly, get you a national black party. Get you a national black party. And 3, that you don't take anything that does not relate to money and resources and opportunities. Civil rights and social integration are divisive things that would split you up and divide you. Stay away from social integration and civil rights. Those things did not help black folk. They have been taken over now by immigrants coming to this country. That's why they get credit for anything they want in this country by claiming that they're included and that they're equal to black folk. They're not equal to black folk. Black folk only control 1/2 of 1% of anything in this country. That's exactly where you were at the end of slavery in 1863. Get away from that and say, no, we want tangible, measurable things. And you start with right now with Biden. Biden right now got into office because of black folk. He's already said he and Harris that they'll never do anything for black folk in terms of reparations and other things. Do not vote for anybody who would not support black folk. I don't care whether it's the lowest officer to the highest officers. Don't do it. And you vote strictly as a block.
So, Dr. Anderson, can I ask you a question about the voting strategy? I'm sorry to jump back in on it, but let me ask you, because you're making a very, very important point that I want to make sure that we highlight. That you said do not vote for anyone who's not in favor of black interests. We right now are pushing a closed border state. We are now pushing closed borders, period, because that is an absolute imminent threat when it comes to our community. And that is our voting strategy as we move forward into the midterm elections and then to the presidential election. How do you feel about the closed border strategy?
I'm totally in favor of it. From the community level to the national level, you set aside your property and make you build your community, and you market and close it. Market and close it, just like the agencies. They mark Chinatown.
Thank you.
Everybody mark their towns with us. If you go across this country, you can find a little Korea, a little China, a little Howling, anything. You can find.
I'm so glad he's still alive.
Absolutely.
Wake up.
So let me.
Okay, family. I'm going to stop it right there so I can get to your comments. But you heard Dr. Claude Anderson, who's been at this for 40 years, sharing with us our most imminent threat of immigration. We would not even be here had we dealt with this issue when Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Martin Luther King, several people spoke on this. And so had we done politics back then, we wouldn't now be looking at damn near 100 million and counting immigrants in this country, while we stand stalled and are actually losing numbers because we've given 20 million babies back to God vis-a-vis abortion. Can't afford to keep our children and grow our populace in the way that immigrants are able on our tax dollars to get the come up on the expense of our ancestors' heinous chattel slave labor. Even they have a strategy, which is why we must be strategic with the vote. This ain't a party thing. It's a Freedmen flourishing thing. So I know a lot of people want us to stay home. That may work in midterm, but you are really taking a chance given how many immigrants are now in this country and will turn up to the polls. So I don't believe in staying home. And I don't believe in throwing your vote away on a third party. I saw you, Ivy Dreams, say that we need a Freedmen party. Look at how well that's not working for the Green Party and for the Libertarian Party. We don't have time for a Freedmen party. Y'all can do both, but I need to focus on this two-party oligarchical system that has stolen two primaries, potentially an entire election under the pandemic with the mail-in votes. I don't trust these Democrats as far as I can throw them. I bore witness to them stealing two primaries, as did you. If you're going to be real about the thing, you saw it happen too. Let me stop sharing the screen. And so for me, you have no one to blame if you continue to bury your head when it comes to politics instead of getting educated on any one of a myriad of shows, broadcasts like these, that are going on all over the screw tube spaces. You're literally deciding, I'm just not going to get involved. Then that means you don't give a damn about the ethno-genocidal plans for Ireland exclusively. And the ones of us that are left will be the ones bottom cast. We'll be the permanent bottom cast because capitalism requires a caste system. And of all the people in this country, I'll be damned, we've been holding this and taking this L for 400, 500 years now. It's time for us to come up off the bottom, and I'm using my voice and my platform to ensure I inform the people about what I believe to be the easiest and hardest way to get it done. That's to work and pit the parties against one another. Because I can tell you what you're doing now, when you continue to vote blue no matter damn who, you're really literally telling Biden and Kabami it's okay to flood the zone with refugees and immigrants and to give them our reparations over making us whole, over making us American. That it's okay if they become more American than we've ever been. That it's okay for them to ethno-genocide us about this piece. That it's okay to make us so poor that the only option we've got is the abortion that the Democrats fight for. That's exclusively impacting us as the ones who nationally make the least at 41K. Even Hispanics who are less educated than us are at 51K national median income. And I've shared with you in prior broadcasts that the African blacks down here have 152,000 in total assets per the 2016 Color of Wealth LA report, as compared to Freedmen black, which they call US black, 30,000. I told you that they are $60,000 liquid to our 200 per that same report. I shared with you that these Hispanics from that same report were 17% degree to our 44% degree. African Black was 48.9% degree. Our income was 53.5. Hispanics were within 3,500 of that median income at 50K, and African Blacks were at 115,000. And these are the ones who got their hands out wanting our reparations. So, my voter strategy is closed border candidates only, including Marcel Dixon in District 6, South Carolina, to unseat Kuhn Clyburn, and Tamara Johnson Shealy in Atlanta to unseat Kuhn Warnock. That is it, and that is all. Party be damned. Now to your comments. Spread the word. Please make this go viral. I'm being shadow banned, so I don't get the numbers I once did. I'm starting all the way over from scratch after having 4,500 subs. And so that was in Facebook when I was live in Facebook mostly. So I'm building up my YouTube, my ScrewTube. I need your help. Thumbs up, thumbs up. It helps the algorithms. It helps people to find me because they are burying my voice. Every time I talk against Biden, Kabami, Obama, and immigration, yeah, I'm getting buried. So I need your help. I'm reading through the comments to hit on the most pertinent ones. I've got about 15 minutes. A bit off topic, but I love the backdrop with the angle, lighting fixture, and pointing in the corner. Makes things so picturesque. Thank you, Brian, for even noticing. This is so I don't have to rearrange my entire condo just to go live. Now I just put a coffee table and I stack a bunch of boxes to raise the tar. Honey, one of these days, I'm going to be so fierce. I'm going to have a production crew and I'm going to have my own studio so I don't have to rig my living space to bring it to you live. But I'm so glad you appreciate the touches. Thank you, Brian. Satra Del Reed 360. The banker is a Latina. He will give to Latina farmers in South Carolina while Black farmers' funds have been frozen. Absolutely, Satra Del Reed 360. I talked about this on a live the other day with, I call him Congressman Marcel Dixon. I'm just simply speaking it into existence. We'll have Congresswoman Tamara Johnson Shealy next Wednesday, or this upcoming Wednesday, to dish with us. But yes, I singled that out. That yes, the Black freedmen farmers, they now, mind you, it wasn't exclusively their funds. Biden set aside $4 billion for them and immigrant farmers. That a bunch of white folks got together to file a class action lawsuit, which has blocked those funds from getting to those freedmen. And just like the fall of the real estate market, while I was trying to go through a loan mod, Bank of America was at the same time seeking to foreclose on my property while ignoring a response to my loan modification request. Yeah, that's what they do. But God is bigger than that. There was a lawsuit against the major banks, and a $25 billion settlement came of it. I got swept up in that and got a permanent principal loan reduction, even better than a loan mod. Look at God. You see? That's our sponsor as Freedmen. That's all. That's our sponsor. That God in each of us that keeps us going, that you're made in the image likeness of. Anywho, akin to that, that's the same thing that's happening with the frozen funds of these black freedmen. Their farms are now under threat by the Agriculture Department for foreclosure. Hey, Angela, great to see you on Sharing Away. Thank you, Perfecto Chico. I appreciate you being here. Thank you, and I appreciate you sharing. Biden has asked Congress for $6.4 billion in aid to Ukraine. Just wait until they start bringing refugees here to further undermine freedmen. I have a whole show lined up for that, Brian. Absolutely. I shared that article, but that broadcast will probably be tomorrow. Yeah. They're already talking about bringing the Ukraine refugees over. And in addition to that, they are making the blacks freeze over there. They're not allowing them to escape. They're leaving them. The trains are only taking the white folks out as Biden uses $6.4 billion more dollars of our reparations to, in fact, help Ukraine. Remember my Freedmen voter strategy come midterms, family. We see the immigration issue all throughout the Northeast, especially in the New York City metro. Yes, of course you do, Perfecto Chico, but in places where the blacks have not seen the impact, they're just going about pretending that they got no problems. Oh, the threat is very imminent. There's a lawsuit going right now that I'm going to do another broadcast on, where you got blacks in Freedmen Black in New York City suing because they gave the Senate there gave the Democratic Senate there gave illegals the right to vote. So we're getting into that too, Perfecto Chico. You're absolutely right. You cannot afford to get comfortable because what's happening here is coming to a state near you that you actually reside in. Kentucky, Tennessee, and other southern and Midwest states have funds to give to immigrants. Oh, yes, those are our tax dollars for those of us who are fortunate enough to be working and are paying into the tax system, because they're planning on both sides of the aisle to ethno-genocide us. And this is the way they do it. Deny you reparations, deny you employment, deny you an American salary, deny you home ownership, deny you business ownership. What does that mean for freedmen? Our peril. Thank you, Sadra. Yes, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Hi, BB. I heard about that incident in Chicago. This will pave the way not only for Black victims of race soldier violence to not get justice through the criminal courts, but also cut off financial repair. Brian, you always coming with that insight, that political intellect and acumen, and I'm so grateful. You are absolutely right. When you allow these Democrats to flood the zone, because Donald Trump had this country on lock. Like him or hate him, we didn't see the numbers of illegals crossing this border akin to how Biden and Kagame have welcomed them here. And the way they get established and set up to take over our communities is with our reparations and our tax dollars. And so what ends up happening is they take over government. And when they take over government, they decide, we've already spent $60 million in this city from these race soldiers harming Freedmen Black. We don't want to spend any more on them. Let's give it to our own. 4 people blocked what was coming to Mia Wright. And on the same day, at the same meeting, gave the $1.2 million to the Hispanics. And I'm the xenophobe for calling out the puckery. Yes, Cynthia, I feel you, sis. Brian goes on to say, this is why ending qualified immunity is a bad look and move for white supremacy as a whole. Accountability is its worst enemy. Absolutely. They don't want to end it because they want to get away with murdering as many of us as they humanly can, because they're still angry that we refuse to allow ourselves to be expatriated after our ancestors were used as the shoes to build the wealth white folks and immigrants alike eat from. So now it becomes, since you wouldn't go, we're just going to kill you off. And we're going to find every way with which to do that. We're weaponizing everything against your people to guarantee you're not in a position to afford to marry, to afford to procreate, because our numbers are going down as immigrants and refugees are on the rise. But when you keep showing up voting blue, no matter damn who, you're voting for the extinction of our very lineage. Know this. Attempting to steal goods, how? Long distance, astro planning the merchandise, telepathically. No, they make up every excuse in the book to justify executing us with impunity. Thank God they're still alive to tell it. And I always love this from BB. Being casual causes you to become a casualty. Les Brown. Turned down for what? Like I tell my daughter and her comrades on the track. Turned down for what? I'm not sitting silently in the gas chamber. I'm telling it all. You can shop where you want to shop. Not really, Ivy Dreams. We should be able to shop where we want to shop, but we clearly can't even go to sleep in our own homes without the militarized race soldiers coming up there and moving as quiet as church mice and executing us within 2 seconds of our awareness. It's not safe to be black in this freaking country. Hi, GOJ. Salute, my love. Thank you for joining the line. Okay, going down. He must recuse himself. I'm not sure who you're speaking of. In that particular segment, there was nothing to, he wasn't a judge. That was the councilman. That was one of the aldermen, one of the Hispanic or Italian. I don't know what that last name originates from, but that was him. He was the one deciding that it's okay to block the $1.67 million to Miss Wright and the people that were to share in that settlement. He was justifying it by saying, why does she come from the west side of town to shop at the Brickyard? As if her being black meant she has to stay out of the white side of town. Look at how we're going backwards. Every time there is a Democratic majority, we're the only ones suffering. We're the only ones regressing. Ergo, why I tell you to join me to make the case for reparations, weaponizing our vote and socializing our suffering. My misery loves company from the other groups. But the problem is they're never as miserable as us. When you've got the bag, you don't mind ethno-genociding freedmen by flooding the zone with immigrants and refugees, because that's not your monkey nor your circus. Ooh, more whiteness. more whiteness to import, because remember, family, I've taught you that the color of white in this country is green, okay? So they love having Ukrainians, Afghanistanians, and Latinas, and Cubans. They love the whitening of the browning of this country to our peril. Notice how we're always made the criminals of our trauma, as imposed by the oppressor class. They'll find something on you from years ago, even as shallow as jaywalking, to make you the guilty party. Every time. Because they got to justify their puckery. They got to justify when they're able to execute us with immunity and with impunity. That must be justified. FBI already told us the police force all throughout the country has been infiltrated by the KKK, white supremacists. But that's not the only place the FBI should have exposed. He should have also exposed the courts, the government. Yeah. You saw that woman Chu give that Mickey Ficky Kim Potter a slap on the wrist. This is what I'm telling y'all. The KKK is black, Asian, Indian, seriously, Hispanic. You see them on the benches now, slapping them on the wrist for executing black life and crying with them and empathizing with them, akin to how that judge in the Rittenhouse case was helping out defense. So please, the white supremacists come in all colors. It's Crayolaville. We are, and this is what Dr. Claude Anderson said, we don't have the numbers to fight every damn body, but that's exactly the position we've been placed in because we don't vote with a strategy. These immigrants, and this is the only way this can work really, while we still are the ones to decide the outcome of the vote, especially during the midterm. We need to show up in Obama-style numbers and show the Democrats who undermine them. We need to show the Democrats the same middle finger that they keep showing us. We need to give the Democrats our asses to kiss the way they've done us. And the way to do that is to show up in Obama-style numbers come midterm, vote closed border candidates only, including Marcel Dixon in District 6, South Carolina, and Tamara Johnson-Shealy in Georgia. Because everybody hates us. And that's the only way you get access to this country. I hear the other groups say, yes, they deserve reparations, but I ain't fighting alongside none of them. They're not fighting alongside me. They ain't showing up to my meetings. They're not doing any of my campaigns. You guys are the ones that get active. When I ring the alarm, y'all get active. Oh, shoot, I'm at 3 o'clock. I'm going to end with this one. They're going to continue to call us that because they don't want us to speak about our experiences with these people. Exactly, Perfecto Chico. They call us xenophobe, anti-immigrant. And so I believe I'm going to construct an entire series every time I speak on the weaponization of immigration. I think that that's going to be a whole new series so I can build that particular series out. I've got so many series, family, and not enough hours in the day to cultivate them all. Prayerfully soon, I'll be in a position to. I don't know how. The numbers, are what they are and being suppressed. I may have to turn. I've got this one show I'm really eager to start to teach us, how to be our own economy despite these gangs out here that are being leveled at us. And I love to cook, and I've got this idea to do a cooking show where I take some of my favorite recipes that I learned, and then I take them to the next level. I nirvana-fize them. I don't know the word. I'm still working with the magic I do on the food to take it to a whole nother level. I take the base recipe. I'm just trying any way I can, in terms of the broadcast I want to bring to ScrewTube, to grow my voice, to grow my presence in order to grow support of our people specifically, because my first fight is with Freedmen and educating them politically to help them understand that we're not as wealthy as they pretend. Sharing less than 700 billion doesn't make you wealthy enough to go out here and shop till you drop. So these little suggestions to boycott buying this, boycott buying that, matters not. People that share hundreds of trillions that they killed and stole from our ancestors' heinous chattel slavery don't need your shekels. And the people that share in the 2.93 trillion of the total 3 trillion that we share is predominantly Black immigrants. You got some overlap in both groups, but for the most part, Black immigrants are sharing in the 2.93 trillion, not those of us who descend from U.S. chattel slavery. And with that being said, family, I have to pray us out. I've got to fix Genesis dinner before I pick up my 80-year-old parishioner. Happy birthday, Kay, if you're watching, to take her to dinner and a movie so I can decompress from all of the puckery. I thank you so much always, guys, for being the wind beneath my wings, the wind beneath my voice. In a fight that fights me for speaking the way I do, as hard as I roll for Freedmen lineage, you guys are a breath of fresh air when you support my voice. I don't think you'll ever know what that means to me, to have you support my voice. It enables me to feel like going on. And with that being said, family, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever Freedmen and his allies are, God truly is, because family, you are the face of God. You are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. Yes, you are. If nobody's told you this today, family, know that I love you, Black. I love you so very strong, family. Yes, I do. Until tomorrow, family, I want you to make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your evening and work week. Yes, I do. Until then, family, I'm bidding you and wishing for you a ton of love, peace, and reparations, reparations, reparations. I'm out. Peace.